The Grasshopper and the Ant, a fairy tale. In a wide green meadow, where birds sang and colorful flowers swayed in the wind, lived two neighbors. One was a grasshopper, a cheerful fellow, a musician and a dreamer. His little violin always sang, and his songs flew up to the very sky. The other was an ant, a small but mighty worker. He never wasted time. From morning till evening, he carried grains of wheat, built his cozy house, and cared for his harvest. Summer arrived. The sun rose over the meadow, scattering its golden rays. The grasshopper sat on a blade of grass and played his violin merrily. From his music, butterflies circled in a dance, and the bees buzzed even more eagerly. "Oh, what a beautiful summer!" he exclaimed. "A time for singing and celebrating." An ant hurried past, carrying a heavy grain of wheat on his back. "Ant, my friend," called the grasshopper, "why do you work all the time? Look at the sun, look at the flowers. Come on, let's sing and dance together." The ant set down his grain and answered calmly, "Summer is warm, but it is short, little grasshopper. We must have time to gather a harvest for the winter. For when the snow covers the earth, there will be nothing to eat." The grasshopper laughed. "What winter? Everything around is so green and fragrant. How can one think of the cold now?" The ant shook his head and hurried on with his work. And the grasshopper once again played joyful melody. Autumn came. The summer was over. The sun grew gentler, and the mornings became cooler. The leaves turned yellow and began to fall. The ant hurried to bring the last grains of wheat into his burrow, and the grasshopper was still singing, sitting under a sunflower. "Little grasshopper," said the ant, "look, autumn is already here. The days are getting shorter, the nights colder. You should work, or it will be too late." But the grasshopper just waved his leg. "It's still so warm. I don't want to spoil my mood. You'd better listen to my new song." The ant said nothing in reply, only worked even faster. He knew winter was near. Winter arrived. One morning, the meadow woke up white. Snow covered the grass and bushes, a cold wind whistled, and snowstorms swirled. The grasshopper woke up from the cold. His wings were stuck together with frost, and his stomach rumbled with hunger. He looked around. Everywhere was only snow and ice. He wandered through the field, searching for at least one grain of wheat, but it was all in vain. Exhausted, the grasshopper knocked on the door of the ant's little house. Inside, the ant was sitting in his warm burrow. On the shelves lay nuts and grains, and a small fire burned in the corner. Someone knocked softly on the door. He opened it and saw the grasshopper, frozen, thin, and trembling from the wind. His eyes were sad and full of tears. "And," he whispered, "forgive me. I didn't listen to you. I have nothing. I am freezing." The ant sat a long time, and then he said, "I warned you, little grasshopper. He who works in the summer lives well in the winter, and he who is idle suffers." The grasshopper bowed his head. "I have understood my mistake. Let me stay with you through the winter. I will change." The ant sighed and opened the door wider. "I will share with you, because kindness is no less important than work. But remember this lesson: without work, there is neither bread nor joy." And so the winter passed. The grasshopper lived in the ant's house. He helped with chores and played his violin to cheer up his friend. When the snow melted and the meadow was green again, the friends went outside. Now the ant worked again, but he was no longer alone. The grasshopper helped too. He carried blades of grass, dragged grains of wheat, and gathered the harvest alongside his friend. And when the work was done, he would sit with his little violin and play music for all the inhabitants of the meadow. The moral. And so the grasshopper understood that fun is good, but without work there is neither warmth, nor harvest, nor true joy. And the ant showed that strength is not only in work, but also in kindness. He forgave his friend and gave him a second chance. For life is fair. He who works has both bread and peace. He who is lazy suffers. And life is also kind. It gives a second chance to those who have understood their mistakes and are ready to change. And from that day on, all the inhabitants of the meadow knew true happiness is born where work,
kindness, and friendship walk side by side.